Before you jump in the shaping room, you have to make a template. The template is the most important part of hand shaping a surfboard, and often the most overlooked. Substrate. For our template, we're going to be using masonite. It's cheap, it's easy to get at any hardware store, and they'll cut it there for you. This masonite is 1/8 inch thick. It's 12 inches wide as well. This will yield many different shortboard templates. Measuring. I'm going to go ahead and put the masonite on this flat surface. Measure out 5 foot 10 inches, which is 70 inches. Travel down to the midway point, which is 35 inches. And on this shape, we're going to go ahead and push the center point 2.5 inches forward to 37.5 inches. We're going to go ahead and grab our Pro Shaper square. And it's important that you line it up not on the masonite, but right on the edge, as if there was a stringer there, since that's how you'll be marking your outline when you go to shape the board. We're going to mark our tail block off at 5.5 inches. Travel up the 12 inches of the square and out. And we're going to do the tail at 16 inches. We're going to go ahead and square it off. And we're going to go to our center mark, line it up again. Travel out to 20 inches. Square it up. And then we're going to go up to the nose. You can see the mark right there. We're going to go ahead and spin the shaper square around. Travel up a foot as well. I'm going to go ahead to 14 inches and square it off. The reason we square these points off is because it gives just one more thing for our eye to measure along. The more measurements and the more visuals we have to follow, the better. The outline. So we're going to go ahead and make a little curve making tool out of the excess masonite. What we're going to do is measure about 1.5 to 2 inches up and about 36 inches long. And all we're going to do is cut this out using our jigsaw. This tool is going to allow us to bend to the curves and do some curves freehand. This tool is key to give us the curves we're going to need to make a nice fluid outline. You can see how easy it is to bend and manipulate this piece of material. I prefer to use a softer carbon pencil. It just leaves a thicker, darker line, which is better for your eye to follow while you're cutting out curves. Just grab a weight. You could use a brick, anything that's roughly about 1 pound that'll give you something to line your homemade curve tool up on. So you can see you can flex it either way. You can get all kinds of curves out of this thing. It takes very little resistance, so it's pretty useful. I'm going to go ahead and line it up about 1/8 of an inch off of our dot, since that's the thickness of the masonite. And we'll be using the flat side that was cut at the hardware store. And we'll just go ahead and place it right up against there. We can do a wider tail, medium tail, or a straight tail. We're going to go kind of a little bit more curvy for this outline. Line up your points, and there you go. Travel up to our center point, line up our tool on the center point and up against the weight that's on the tail, and try and kind of flow it back 2 to 3 inches behind the line. We're then going to travel up to the point that's 12 inches down from the nose, and now we're going to blend the center point to that mark as well. Next, we're going to focus on the point that's 12 inches down from the nose, right to the very tip of the nose on the template. And the reason why we focus about 2 to 3 inches behind the previous point is because we want that curve to flow from point to point and look seamless. Cutting. So when we usually tape off in surfboards, we tape off on the inside of the line, or when we're doing cut laps, on the inside of the rail. However, for doing templates, there's a little trick. You line up the tape on the outside, so you basically get 2 lines for your eye to travel along, which makes it quite a bit easier when you go to cut. That way, you can always travel outside the line and you won't go inside of the cut zone. So we're going to cut off the nose portion first. and start cutting our template. As long as you hug the tape line, you'll be outside of the pencil line that you've drawn, which is the safe zone. As you can see, I'm just cutting right along that tape edge, and it makes it pretty easy to see since you have both the pencil and the tape to follow. Cleaning up the template. I like to use the standard 10-inch Surfform. It's flat, it has a great blade that cuts quickly and accurately, and the way to do it is to pull it towards you, not push it away. You can get a nice long flowing cut, which is what you want with the template. You can just hit a couple of the high spots and then focus on doing long pulls towards you. And all you're going to do is just line it up and try and get as close to that pencil line that you can. Then I'm going to switch over to the Fiberglass Hawaii blue shape pad with 80 grit on it and basically just clean it up. If you follow the tape and the pencil method, there's really not too much work to do to clean it up and get a nice flowing outline. Now you're ready to shape.